Life can be a journey full of uncertainty. And even when everything seems fine, the question arises, what is the true purpose of it all? In a world where so many voices compete for our attention, the presence of Jesus stands out as a living and constant answer, a source of hope and faith that never fails. The search for him is not only for moments of prayer, but for every day, every moment, when doubts arise or joy overflows. Many do not realize that true peace and confidence are born from being close to God, and that he is not distant, but within reach of a sincere heart. Perhaps you have even heard this before, but still feel that something is missing. So, the answer that you have perhaps been looking for all along is right there, in the constant and transforming presence of Jesus. There is a unique depth to the simple act of being in communion with Jesus. It's not just about specific moments, like morning prayer or visiting church. Jesus longs to be present in every aspect of your life, offering peace and strength in the midst of everyday challenges. Imagine waking up and, instead of starting your day with the distractions of routine, connecting with his presence. It is in this constant practice that true faith is strengthened and hope is reborn, because where Jesus dwells, there is always a way, even when everything around seems uncertain. Now, being in the presence of Jesus requires intentionality. He is not distant, waiting only at set times. He wants to walk with you throughout the day, in the simplest tasks, in casual conversations, even in moments of silence. It is like a deep friendship. The more time you spend together, the greater the trust and wisdom he shares. Imagine carrying this presence with you at work, in difficult choices, or when dealing with people who test your patience. These are ideal moments to feel the peace of Jesus and let it guide every response and decision. It's not uncommon to feel like you're running out of time, but think about the little pauses you take. These are invitations to make space and invite Jesus into your life, just as you would invite a friend. It could be while you're waiting for a cup of coffee to brew or before an important meeting. These short, simple moments create an opening for grace, allowing him to fill the void. And as this practice becomes a habit, you'll feel renewed hope, restored faith, and confidence that, with each step, he is with you, preparing the next. Seeking a genuine connection with God is like diving into deep waters, where the peace he offers becomes real and tangible. Intimacy with him does not happen overnight. It is built in the silence of prayer, in reflection on life, and in the sincere desire to follow his path. Think of the presence of the Holy Spirit as a friend who is by your side, ready to guide you when doubts arise. The more you seek this closeness, the clearer the voice that brings direction and wisdom to each situation becomes. Having intimacy with God transforms your heart and aligns your life with the greater purpose he has designed. Imagine living each day with the certainty that you are not alone, that there is someone greater guiding each step. And this intimate relationship with the Holy Spirit brings unshakable confidence, because he lights the way when everything seems uncertain. He is a constant presence that acts as a counselor, bringing discernment when it is necessary to make a choice, and comfort when it is necessary to find peace. Many seek this connection in times of crisis, but the secret is to cultivate the relationship daily, as if watering a plant. Reading a verse first thing in the morning, or setting aside a few minutes at night to talk to God are simple ways to draw closer and strengthen that connection. As that connection deepens, you will find that peace and discernment become part of who you are. And so, faith grows, hope blossoms, and little by little, the Holy Spirit guides your steps toward the purpose he has for you. Intercessory prayer is a powerful act, a gesture of love and faith that goes beyond words and reaches the heart of those in need. When someone takes the time to pray for another, they are, in fact, building a bridge between God and that person, carrying the hope that he will act in their life. Imagine praying for God to bless a friend's decisions, or to bring peace to the heart of a family member in times of distress. Every prayer, even the simplest, generates a deep spiritual connection because God moves in response to love for others. Praying for others is also an exercise in empathy and faith because it requires putting the needs of others above our own. It is like saying to God, Take care of this heart that so needs your peace and guidance. This reminds us that we are all part of a larger body, where the pain and joy of one impacts everyone. In each intercession, the Holy Spirit acts, touching lives in ways that we cannot always see, but that produce fruits of wisdom and transformation. A prayer for others is not just a prayer. It is an act of trust, believing that God hears and responds, even when the results are not immediate. A simple example is praying for someone who is facing a difficult decision, asking God to bring discernment and clarity, or interceding for someone struggling with financial challenges so that they may find peace and direction. Small gestures, such as asking God to bless someone's day, show that faith and love are not limited to ourselves. And at the end of each prayer, you realize that you too are transformed, because the practice of intercession brings your heart closer to God and reinforces the power of trust and hope. Discernment and wisdom are gifts that God offers to guide us in times of uncertainty. When we are faced with a difficult decision, it is natural to seek clarity, but we often forget to ask for guidance from the one who knows everything. God calls us to trust in Him, because only He knows the consequences that our eyes cannot see. Discernment helps us identify what really matters and differentiate what is right from what is uncertain. Imagine, for example, someone facing a job choice. With discernment, they can evaluate not only the immediate benefits, but also the future implications for their life and purpose. Seeking this wisdom is recognizing that our own vision is limited. God, however, sees beyond and wants to guide us on the paths of justice and peace. And when we ask for wisdom, it is as if He gives us a lens that clears the way, showing what was hidden and preventing us from falling. This wisdom also teaches us to wait for the right time and to act firmly when necessary. Think about financial decisions. Divine discernment leads to prudent choices, avoiding impulses and guiding us to where there will be growth without jeopardizing what we have built with faith and effort. The practice of seeking wisdom brings us closer to the character of Christ, who always acted with prudence and love. In our daily lives, this can manifest itself in simple things, such as knowing when and how to speak, or even when to remain silent to avoid unnecessary conflicts. Each time we ask God for discernment, our trust in Him is strengthened, and hope grows as we know that, guided by His wisdom, we are following the safest path. By seeking God's presence, we are inviting His blessings to encompass not only our lives, but also those of our families. Each prayer is like a seed planted, from which springs hope and the confidence that He will take care of every detail. The Word says that God blesses those who trust in Him, and these blessings go beyond the material. They are blessings that touch health, peace, and family unity. Think of a family that gathers to pray, entrusting their future into God's hands. These moments of faith strengthen bonds and renew the certainty that He will provide for all their needs. God's presence in our lives is also reflected in the areas in which we dedicate our work and effort. He sees each effort and rewards it with prosperity and opportunities. When someone works guided by this faith, each achievement becomes proof of God's faithfulness. By placing their business and livelihood in His hands, the faithful find peace and wisdom to manage with justice and generosity. A practical example is someone who entrusts their goals to God, asking Him to bless their path and grant them success, not only for themselves, but also to bless others around them. God's blessing is not limited to the present. It reaches generations. By entrusting their lives and families to Him, a path of faith is open for their children, who learn to also seek and depend on God. This unshakable trust teaches them that, even in difficult times, He is the one in control. In the end, true prosperity is not found in accumulated possessions, but in the certainty that God guides and blesses each step and, above all, in the hope that future generations will continue to follow this same journey of faith. True wealth in life is not found in material possessions or achievements, but in intimacy with God, which brings us peace and hope that nothing can buy. This closeness to Him fills our hearts in a unique way, and the more we invest in being in His presence, the more we understand what really matters. It is an understanding that goes beyond appearances. where recognition and trust in God become our greatest treasure. Those who value this intimacy experience lasting peace, something that not even the most fleeting success could provide. In a world where material things are overvalued, intimacy with God makes us see what really matters. When we have this connection, we understand that possessions, fame, and titles are fleeting. They do not define our purpose. They only complement what has already been designated by God. Thus, seeking this closeness is also an act of humility and trust. For example, someone who has already achieved financial stability but still feels empty will realize that nothing can fill this gap except God Himself, who brings meaning to life. The journey of faith shows us that everything earthly will one day be left behind, but the relationship with God goes beyond this reality. This intimacy is an open door to something eternal, a guarantee that, even in the face of life's uncertainties, there is a safe place. It is in this bond of faith and hope that we find the strength to face challenges and remain steadfast. Those who choose to follow this path experience a joy that is not shaken by circumstances and discover that the true reward is to always be in the presence of God. What are you waiting for to put into practice everything you have learned here about the presence of Jesus? Imagine how your life can change when you seek this closeness with God every day, not only in moments of prayer, but in every decision, in every path you choose to take. Are you prepared to allow faith and hope to guide your actions? So, reflect. What are you doing today to strengthen your intimacy with God? If you want to share or ask for prayer, leave it in the comments, because together we can seek this journey. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to continue immersing yourself in the teachings and grow in wisdom, faith, and confidence with each new content.